everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and I'm going to be doing some readings today with the Hezico Tarot that Miss Whimsy was so gracious to have sent to me. I also had to, of course, have the citrine, but look how nice it looks with my Alfred, because I can't ever say that name right. So I had to include that because obviously she sent that to me with it as well. Well, my Happy Buddha's over there because I was rubbing his belly. But yeah, so I have, these are not in any particular order. I have already done Miss Whimsy, who sent me the deck. I've given her already a private reading, sent her a different reading. As I said, she would have first dibs, but I'm not doing that one on here. But everybody else, I'm going to try to, stay fairly quick because I want to be able to get everybody's in. And these are not in any particular order. I've, got them on 3x5 cards and kind of shuffled them up. And so but I do want to be able to see. I think I'm going to probably lay out. I'm going to probably have to move my beautifully orchestrated. Actually, I think if I just separate out here, because otherwise we are not going to. There we go. Let's make two little. I'm all about that symmetry. But otherwise I'm not going to probably have room for it to all be seen. That's because I still may go ahead and put 9 cards out, but I'm going to read them really quickly. I'm not going to really go into a great deal of depth. Just because, again, these are just quick readings. I'm just trying to break this little guy in and also be able to answer some of your questions, but they're not going to be in-depth 9-card readings. But I do want to see these in, I think that part of the, let me turn this light off. I think we're going to get glare. I think part of the ways in which this is going to work really well is in seeing what cards pop up, because there's such a difference between the minor arcana, the major, and the quartz. And I kind of want to see how that functions. So I might switch it up a little bit, but my intention is probably to do some 9 cards, but I'm not going to go in depth like I would be doing on a full 9-card reading. Also, I will, as I've said, I don't know, it's been a while since I did one of these free readings, but most people who know, follow my channel, know that I am the queen of changing people's questions. If it's just something, that I don't read for, just so that you can at least get a reading. Again, it's free, so I figure anything that you might get is going to be helpful. So I do apologize for breaking that cardinal rule. Obviously, if you were reading, if you were doing a reading with me, we would be discussing that beforehand. Yeah, I don't just willy-nilly change people's things, but I do sometimes with these free readings. So the first one that I have is from Totally Tarot, and the message said that my husband and I didn't write these word for word, they're moving this next week, and it's been really crazy and stressful, and a lot of things have been going wrong. And so the question is how to handle the stress that's of moving, and moving is extremely stressful. So wow, almost had a big. Okay, Ace of Swords. Look we have a moving house. That's hilarious. That makes me so happy. Things are difficult. So yeah, we can definitely see the moving, and we can see that things are really difficult here. But I love that we have the Ace of Swords that is technically going to be in the corner, right? So this, for me, the Ace of Swords is all that mental work. And so this is really that idea of kind of needing to do all the mental work, check your boxes, making sure that everything is as done as you can make it, and then, needing to let that go. But we'll keep, I have a bad habit of starting before all the cards are down, but how can I not get excited when it's a question about moving and we actually have a moving house? That just makes me happy. I also look to the middle. you know, when I do 9 cards, whether it's Lenormand or tarot or whatever I'm doing, I do treat it quite Lenormandy. And so I do look to the middle if I haven't placed a card there. And I looked at these 2 cards being really key cards. And so we have the Hermit there, the very happy hermit. I can't get the name out. I just love this here. But we have, you know, a very zen hermit here. And so these 2 things together, I think, are really wonderful because we have that idea of we've got to do the mental work, right? Sometimes stress is because we're not really prepared. We haven't sat down and done our checklist, figured out everything that needs to be done, gotten everything situated, done all of that mental work that we just simply have to do. Life isn't going to always, especially in terms of moving and things like that, life isn't always going to go smoothly if we don't do everything that we need to do to make sure that it can go as smoothly as possible. So that's kind of saying, okay, do the head work. But then we have the Zen happy Buddha guy in the middle, the hermit, that says, okay, you know, once you've done that, then you need to kind of step back and to kind of recenter yourself and get into that Zen space of things aren't going to go perfectly, right? Things are going to mess up with moving. Things are going to go out of whack. There are so many variables in place with moving so there are going to be hiccups. And so you have to kind of get yourself into a space where that's not going to completely throw you off when it happens, because it's going to happen. And so you simply need to kind of get to that space in which you can take a step back from that. Shine a light here that says there is going to be an end. You're going to get through this, and just kind of recenter yourself. Get up and out so that you can recenter. That's kind of the message I'm seeing here between these 2 cards, which are really important. We have the emotions showing up here with the 2 cup cards, 3 cup cards here, right? Again, the 7 of cups is about illusion. So that's about, you know, we were just had a conversation about expectations on live chat. And so for me, the 7 of cups is about, again, that check-in, and it's opposite of the Ace of Swords. So it has that check in there that says, okay, maybe you have to check some expectations at the door. It's probably going to be difficult. It's going to be stressful. It's a finite amount of time. So, you know, really having to choose the important battles. Things are going to be difficult. It's going to be a little chaotic, but choose, you know, kind of be able to separate reality from stress and being able to really choose what's important. I think is a great message to have showing up there, and that it's opposite of kind of getting your things in order mentally. Have I done everything? Have I not done all the checklists? Is everything set as much as I can do? So I think I love how that symmetry there. But then we have the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. So the kings for me are all like mini emperors, I always say. It's like you're creating order out of chaos within the suit, and that is a suit of emotions. And so oftentimes stress is right about our emotions getting the best of us, getting out of control. And so the King of Swords is here saying, okay, bring this back down. You're gonna bring the anxiety down, bring all the stress down, do everything you can do, be realistic about your expectations, choose your battles, find your center, you know, bring things down into manageable bites. I love that the 6 of Coins is here because, again, that's about resource management. Your husband, you have yourself, you have your husband. I don't know if you have other people that are helping, but it's about using your resources wisely. Where am I going to put my energy? In this case, I don't know that's necessarily about finances. Again, this is just a quick reading, but what's coming up is that idea of using your resources wisely. That's energy resource. That is practical resources. What can your husband be doing? What can you be doing? What are other friends that you might have that you can delegate things, but making sure that you're managing your resources well, which goes hand in hand also, I think, with the Ace of Swords. And then same thing with the 5 of Coins. The 5 of Coins is that message that says you're not doing it alone. You might feel like it, you might feel stressed out, but your husband is there. You might have other friends and family members that can be of help to you in this situation. situation. So make sure that you're using those resources, that you're not kind of getting yourself kind of isolated out. We want to be centered and kind of step back a little bit, but we don't want to be isolating ourselves. We want to be reaching out to the people that can actually help us in this situation. So I like those two cards there. And then the Knight of Cups is that action. Like, don't be proactive. If this is really stressing you out, things are really difficult, you know, be proactive in dealing with. Get on top of it. Get on top of your emotions. Don't just wait for next week to come and everything to fall apart and be really stressful. Like, really be proactive and getting yourself set in the best possible way that you can. And then you're going to be a lot less stressed and being able to deal with the hiccups that come, because they will come in moving. So that's just like a quickie. I really love that showed up there. I hope that helps you in a little some ways. I'm going to try to keep these moving, but I quite like how the cards that came up for you there. Okay, next we have one from Mystic Moon, and she is just looking for a general reading, which is, I think this is really great to do. This particular 9 cards, so we're just going to stick with that format. And I have, that was really lovely. I have been, you know, I'm shuffling in between because I do like a really good shuffle before switching from the same deck, and figured why I have to have you see that the entire time. Okay, so we're looking for a general reading. King of Swords. I think these are centered. I love the 6 of Cups. Ooh, so we have the Devil in the center. So that always, for me, that always represents that there is in some way perhaps in your life in which you have given over power. The Devil is about abdicating, for me, the Devil is about abdicating power to somebody else. Instead, you have, you know, some 4 out of 9 we have as major arcana, so that's pretty powerful there. And I love that we have the Justice after the Devil, because the Devil to me again is about abdicating power. It's about, in some ways, you are giving over your power to someone or to something, but you are needing to bring things back into balance, because look at how we have the Justice cards right here. We have right following the Devil card and moving into the future. It's that needing to restore balance, to restore perspective. The Justice card is often about kind of breaking through the emotional aspect of things and seeing into the truth of it. And so that is what may help you to kind of take your own power back. I do like, I mean, this is a very creepy Devil card here. It's very, you know, the wings and the horns and, you know, very traditional demonic devil, but we still have the people who are chained, but the chains don't lead to anything except for each other, right? They can easily put the chains down and walk away from the situation. Now, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be always easy, because obviously once we are have given our power away, it's very difficult to take it back, but there is but you can, because it is hinging upon your own releasing of your power to somebody or to something else. And in your corner though, so in your upper left hand corner, we have the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is there, obviously that energy is there to help you, because there is that, you know, that Justice and the King of Swords on, you know, kind of both connected to the Devil card, is that sense of you know, he's creating order and control, mental order and control. So this could be an emotional thing. This could be an anxiety driven. You know, we can actually give our power over to anxiety and things like that if it's in the mental realm. And so needing to bring that back into control could be the message here with the King of Swords. We have the Eight of Rods above here, which says the time to do this is now. It's not time to wait on this situation. It's time to do this now, and it is a choice because we have the Lover's card underneath the Devil card. Again, this tells us this is something that you have a choice over. This is something that you know, there's a decision to be made, and you simply need, again, the word simply is one of those kinds of adjectives I think that should be removed from the vocabulary, because we have that sense here. It's nothing always simple about this, but there is a choice that's involved, and it's a choice that needs to be made now. But we do have, you know, we have the Hermit card over here as well, that needing to get perspective, to kind of go off and learn the things that you need to learn so that you can kind of face this situation easier in the future. But this can also be somebody that might be a mentor or somebody that could help you on this kind of journey of needing to let loose of something that needs to be let. And we don't need to always think huge things, right? Although we do have a lot of major arcana here. Abdication of power and the Devil looks like it's this big, heavy, huge issue, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean drug addiction or alcohol addiction or in some way escaping through these big things. It can be small areas of eroding of our personal power. Like I said, it can be giving over to anxiety. It can be simply allowing a situation that is not in your best interest to continue because you've sort of given up your power in that particular situation. These don't have to be huge moments. They can be small moments that can still have a big impact on your life because you aren't walking within your own power. But I really love when we move forward here into the future line, we do have a movement towards restoring balance. The Six of Cups is that nostalgia. That is that sense of seeing the world through. And that may be your way of taking back your personal power, because it's time to grab it now. Well, what are we supposed to grab? Grab onto that understanding of seeing the world again through the eyes of a child. Seeing the wonder of the world again may help to free you from this particular situation. And it's going to have the ability to restore balance, which is also touching on the Six of Cups. I love that we have the Nine of Coins here. We can see all this abundance here, right? So everything moving forward into the forward line is actually really good, as long as you take this opportunity and make this choice to kind of reassert control over a specific situation. We have the Three of Rods here, which is quite interesting, right? Because that's a little bit of a patience card. That's a little bit of that idea of, okay, well, it's growth and expansion, things that are coming to you. But I think that this is what's blocking it, because that's what we're waiting for something to come to you, which may be this sense of abundance that we have over here, but it's being blocked by this being in the middle. So that once you do kind of make that choice quickly, get on it, kind of reassert seeing the world again, reassert balance and harmony, and that abundance that we see you waiting for here is going to show up. It's just in the future line. And then look for somebody that can be of help to you in this particular situation. I hope that helps for you. I mean, I know this is like when something like that shows up in the middle, it's like, okay, well, that's a little bit of a weighty topic for a quick read, but I hope that some of that resonates with you and may be of help. But you know, you're moving in the right direction. You just got to kind of take care of this in the middle here. So there is that for Mystic Moon. Okay, the next reading is for Yvonne, and she has been sick for the last couple months. It's been quite a slow recovery, and it's you know, kind of starting to meld into depression, and she's wondering how to hold on to peace and joy and not get overcome by the depression. And I'm so sorry that you have been ill, and I definitely wish you much health and speedy recovery that this can pick up. But it's difficult, right? When you're in a long-term illness, something that's dragging on, and you're having to recover, and you're not, it's just difficult because your body doesn't feel well, and so even though you may be recovering, your body is tired, it's exhausted, and it's trying to recoup, and so it kind of puts you into that kind of hermity mode. And then B, trying to keep your spirits up in those circumstances can be so very difficult. So I definitely feel your pain on that, and I really do wish you speedy recovery. Just trying to make sure that they're well shuffled. I don't very often, other than these types of things, I don't very often use the exact same deck over and over again, so I do like to give it a little bit of a real refresher. Sometimes even after a couple like this, I will do a table shuffle. So we're looking to see some message here on clinging to joy and peace and not getting overcome by the situation. We have the Emperor, the Hierophant. So lots of structure there. That's quite interesting because if you think about it, sometimes when we're in the midst of recovery, our patterns, our natural patterns of living in life get shook up, right? Because we are in this recovery mode, and so we don't have that sort of consistent schedule, consistent sleep patterns, because a lot of times we are napping because we aren't feeling well and we're recovering. But that's what's popped up with those two cards for me, is that idea of making sure that you're putting structure into your life, even though you may not be like back to work and those kinds of things, but having some type of structure is going to really help you to kind of get your feet back on the ground, and not kind of give in to those kind of heavier feelings, which are very, I think, easy to fall into when we don't have any kind of structure or a pattern. What's interesting, though, is that we have the Seven of Cups here as the center card, and that's quite an interesting one because I kind of see this card very differently. Well, it's not my favorite card, let's be honest with you. It's one of those ones that it's like, okay, because I don't generally like the image of all the things in the cups, it becomes not one of my favorite ones. However, it's I love that the sevens have this kind of, like, we have the Seven of Swords. Something is happening and we're not quite sure what's necessarily happening. Are the swords being stolen away for good things or bad things? What's going on? What's the backstory here? It can kind of swing either way. And I think that we have the same sort of feeling with the Seven of Cups, where we have that idea of not really being clear about what's going on. We have all these different choices here, and we have to make sure that we make the best choice of what's going to be going on. And it's about making sure that you kind of listen and figure out what is realistic and what is not, what is illusion, what is reality. And that way, when you make a decision, sometimes you'll see, like, I think it's the Steampunk Tarot, where you'll see somebody's like looking in a shop window with all these things. So it's kind of like needing to make a decision on how to move forward, but being kind of blinded by all these different things that are here, these different options that are here. And so you have to use your gut instincts, you have to use your intuition to make sure that you're picking what is real. What really comes up for me with this particular card is that idea of making good choices, right? It's that idea of kind of needing to push aside the things that aren't needed, aren't necessary, aren't real for you, and really focusing on the things that matter. And so that would be one of the primary things, given this question of how to cling to peace. It's really figuring out what matters and focusing on that and letting the rest of it kind of ooze away, right? It's not important here. We need to focus on what is important to you and let the rest ooze away. I also really strongly get that sense, even with this, with the balance, that in the midst of recovery, retaining structure and balance is going to be very important to you, so that you don't kind of get overshadowed by sort of the blahness factor that comes with the recovery. Because in some ways, right, the recovery time can be much more difficult than the actual being sick time. Now, I say that tongue-in-cheek. I mean, obviously it's not it's difficult to be in a really hard position sick-wise, but when we get into that recovery phase, it starts to really drag out. You're wore out, you're kind of tired of it all. It's really easy to slip into that kind of depression type thing. You're sleeping a lot, your patterns aren't, you know, back into mode. And so that's why I think this is really popping up, that says, as best as possible, create some structure, create some boundaries, create some balance to your life, so that you have a rhythm to your life and it's not just kind of meh and making you feel that sort of mehness, right? What's interesting is that we have the Wheel of Fortune over here, that even though we have that change, I really love this Wheel of Fortune, can I say, with the elements. That's probably one of my favorite Wheel of Fortunes. That even amidst all this change that you've been going through, we have the Emperor here, like, let's retain as much order as possible. We don't always have control over that, but as much as possible, let's create structure, let's create order. So I quite like that. I like that we have, moving forward, the Temperance, Temperance and the High Priestess, right? And so we have that sense of Temperance is generally, you can't really see it so much in this card, but I like the ones that you can see. It's that mix of blue and red, so waters and fire, and it's the mix of those two things creating something new. But it is also you're kind of, I love the Shadowscapes Tarot Temperance card, where you can literally see her making a ball out of the red and blue, a yin and yang sign out of the red and blue energy. And so in a sense, it is also creating balance out of disparate energies, so that you have both the active masculine and the receptive feminine in balance and in tune, so that we're not washed by emotions, but we also have that practical male energy, which we can see quite a lot of masculine just visually here. And so making sure that we're keeping all the active and receptive in balance, because it's really easy in recovery mode to be really drenched in that watery, we're just kind of floating along, which is fine to a certain degree, but then we sort of need to recreate structure so that we cannot kind of just stagnate, right? We have the King of Cups here, actually, with that idea of in the realm of the waters and emotions. It's kind of put, again, like the Emperor, we are creating order out of emotional chaos, emotional things that may be adrift, and we're kind of bringing that structure back in. So lots of that, I'm really getting that strong energy of bringing up structure. But I also love that we have the Page of Rods here, because that is learning something new, that is about what things that impassion us, that bring us, that's going to re-energize you, is that kind of idea of initiating something new in the realms of your creativity, in the realms of what excites you and brings you passion. So that's going to kind of pull you up and out of this kind of recovery mode, and kind of bring you back right into the world again. But I love here at the very end, we have the High Priestess on the other side of the Emperor. So we almost again have, it's not obviously perfectly balanced. It would be the Empress over here, but we still have that male and female energy that's needing to be brought into balance. So we still have that sense of bringing in order and order, out of chaos in your maybe physical world, but there's still a lot for you to assimilate deep in that inner world where the high priestess dives deep in, that there is some things that need to be assimilated and worked into your understanding and coming to terms with, so that you can move forward in a balanced way. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there. I hope that that helps you in some way. Again, that's a big question for a quick reading, but I hope that that helps in some way. And I really wish you much peace as you move forward in your recovery. Okay, moving on, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed. This doesn't have the voice that I thought it was going to have. I really did think it was going to have a much more lighter voice, and I'm not really getting that kind of voice out of it. It's pretty earthy and pretty, there's a serious tone to this voice despite having those light fays and the little gnomes and stuff. It's quite a serious voice. The next question we have is from Niki, and I love how she phrased this, is what to change or work on in her life to attract love and abundance. I mean, how wonderful a question that is. You know, it's not so much, you know, will I find the man of my dreams or the woman of my dreams, but, you know, how do I attract love and abundance? Like, what can I change in my own life? What can I work on so that I'm putting out that energy that attracts what it is that I'm looking for? So I quite like that question phrasing. And again, I have quite spent some time shuffling this in between. So never you fear. Ooh, we have the Chariot, so lots of energy movement, standing your ground. Six of Cups wants to play today. That sense of facing the world through the eyes of a child. I love the Six of Cups. These two are actually one of my favorite cups. I'm not huge on the cup suit, but I love the Eight of Cups, and I really love this particular Eight of Cups because... yeah, she just is so determined. And I love that we have in the background the dolphin. It just really reflects my idea. There's a determination and a moving forward. And it's not negative. We have the joyful dolphin here. We have the cups are all upright. So it's not necessarily things have been bad that you're moving away from. But it is, and look at, we have for love and abundance, we have the King of Cups in the middle. That's pretty impressive here. Here we have the Three of Coins, working diligently and to master things that are important to you. We also have mastering of your will and your self-confidence. This is a lot, Chariot's a lot to do with confidence. So it's that idea of kind of putting your place into confidence and moving through your life and through your world with confidence. And that, and it's the truth. My daughter and I were actually talking about this today, how you can take a same person, same kind of body size, maybe same basic type of a personality, dress them in same, somewhat similar, you know, same clothing, and even, but if you have one person walking and bearing themselves with confidence, it's like a whole nother person. So I think you could even take twins dressed the same, and you put in one of them being clothed in confidence, and it completely can change the energy and the look and the way that people react to that person. And that's kind of that sense that you get here. And the same thing is that there's that sense of mastery and working on something that you're really proud of. When we are engaged in things, when we are pursuing things that bring us joy, and that we feel productive when we're doing it, and that we're energized by, that reflects. I think that reflects in our life. Here's the Hermit again. You're kind of off on a journey. You know, you're off on a journey here. Look at that twice here, but confidently, right? Moving off onto this new, treating life as this is a new adventure. You have kind of the end of one chapter, and maybe time to leave some things in the past, because we do have the Five of Cups here, where we have the little guy looking at the spilled cups, very traditional, but turning around, we've got a ship moving off into the distance on a new adventure. We have cups that are full, and so there may be some things in in past relationships that you need to acknowledge, and do whatever you need to do in terms of sitting with, but then it may be time to let those go. Let those be past, because you're off on a new adventure, and it's an adventure of learning. I love the Hermit going off here onto this, but from a very zen place. He's got the light guiding his way, but he's also, the light's not just guiding his way, but the light is shining a light for somebody else. So it's a very spiritual journey, but look at how happy he is. I love this particular Hermit because he is so zen-like and so content with his life as it is. And so it's that sense of moving forward for new adventures, but making your life as it is right now something that you're content with. That's going to again, that attracts people. We're attracted to people who exude confidence, who exude being on the business of living their life, whether it's solo right now, but that opens you up to living that same life. It attracts other people to you because you're just going about the business of living your life, and when it's time for love and abundance to come to you, it's going to come to you, and you're going to be ready and open to see it and to embrace it. So I quite love that we have those two here with the movement. We have 3 movement cards, confidently moving forward. That's what we have here. There's some maybe past emotional baggage that may need to be left behind. We have the King of Cups bringing order to emotions and kind of saying, okay, that this kind of thing, we got to leave that behind because we're moving forward. That I love the standing your ground. It's like, but this is all cups here. So it's like standing your ground emotionally and kind of bringing order to whatever things may be still interloping from the past. And it's time to release those energies as you move forward, because moving forward, again, we have that sense of freshness, seeing the world through children's eyes where snails can be houses, right? Everything is an adventure. Everything is something new. Diligently working on what inspires you, what it is that you find joy in, and really putting your energy into those things. And the Sun. Now the Sun to me is it should be counterpoint to the Chariot, right? Because the Sun is that sort of energy to me. The Sun is about happiness that comes because you are kind of mastery of your own powers, mastery of your own self, and you are kind of walking out into the world, or riding like a man on a horse, not a baby, a strong, that so strong active male energy of confidence. And that is what is attracting and shining the Sun in the Sun card. So I love that those are at counterpoints to each other. So I hope, again, quickie, but I hope that helps in some ways. I love these cards for you, actually. I really do like this. So I hope this helps you in some ways. And I really do I think personally, you've already taken that right step forward just in the way that you phrased your question. So I wish you much love and much abundance. Next we have Miss Julia, and she has just asked for overall energies in August. So just kind of a forecasty, what to be aware of, maybe what to pay attention to. I like to see those kinds of questions. I do that kind of thing for myself now and again, especially if I've encountered a big shift, and I just kind of want to see almost like the year ahead type spreads, but doing it for the month of August, where we are just kind of looking to see what are the energies there, what do I need to be keeping my eye open for, what do I need to be paying attention to coming up into August. So I think that's a really great question. Good questions. This one's given me some different things to test this deck out. I'm quite impressed with it. I'm really happy with how it reads. Page of Swords. Love the Four of Rods. So we've got some movement here. Well, it's not really movement. See, this is wrong because I think of a moving house, and this is not a moving house. This is stability. See? See what happens when you latch your brain on the idea of Howl's Moving Castle? Oh, I love it. The Empress. What great energy there. Queen of Cups. The Magician. Queen of Coins. You've got a lot of energy to be lots. Look at the Two of Cups, Ten of Cups. I'm liking the look of August here for you, Miss Julia. June. wait, I might have her name wrong. She changed her name, so anyways, it's Miss Julia. So excuse me if I messed that one up. Lots of great energy here. Of course, I always look to the center. We have the Magician. The Magician says that whatever is coming in the month of August, you have everything that you need to deal with it. You have all of the power. You have access to all of the elements. You have everything you need to deal with August. So that right there is always a very good, a good message right up front. We also have the Page of Swords. So there's some learning coming for me, and I got really stuck in my head. 2 decks I think really helped me with pages, and I don't even have one of the decks anymore. The Green Witch Tarot, I really liked the page energy as children that were learning something. You also kind of see that, I think, in even the Bohemian Gothic. I just think of the Page of Air, I think, with something where there's a little kid practicing musical instruments. But I really saw it with the Green Witch Tarot. I also, of course, love the Mary Owl's Court thing, where the pages are initiating, the princes or the knights are questing, active energy. The queens are creating an environment for their suit to grow in, and then the kings are creating order and structure in that particular suit. That really kind of locked in. I never really had a problem with the court cards, but those 2 things really helped, and especially with the pages with the Green Witch Tarot. So it's always for me that idea of learning. It's that initiating something new, a new energy that's coming forward, and this is in the realm of swords. So this is about knowledge and communication. So there may be some new learning is going to be taking place in August. I don't know. I can't remember how old you are. And so I don't know if you're going to be going into college, or if you're in some ways, we always can be learning, but I'm getting that idea of there's something something new to learn in August, and you have everything you need to be able to accomplish it for sure. I look at the queens on either side here. So we have the queen, again, creating environment for healthy relationships, creating the environment for stability and structure that we see in the Four of Rods here. That's stabilize. I love this house here. The Four of Rods is that sort of stability, but it's stabilizing in the terms of the things that you're passionate and creative about. So there is, I just love that. And same thing with the Empress. We have that creative energy here. And we also have the Ace of Rods, and that is that essence of that creating what things you're passionate about. So maybe you're going to be learning something new in the realm of something that really excites your passion, the things that you love, the way that you express yourself creatively. There's going to be something new maybe showing up in August. You've got what you need to do it. I love the queens on either side and the Empress. So we've got lots of just deep structure. She's already created her child in this particular deck. I really love her hair in this deck. So, and then we've got the Cups, the Two of Cups, good relationships under the Queen of Cups, and then the Ten of Cups. So, in a very quick nutshell, I'm saying that your energy is going to be, you may be focusing your energy coming up on creation and things that you're passionate about, learning something new about the way that you express yourself creatively, understanding that you've got everything that you need to do it, paying attention to look at your relationships, creating that environment for your emotions to be stable. And so that is creating the ability to have these connections with the people around you, and that sense of abundance in your emotions and your relationships. But the Queen is here, and she's actually, creating that environment. So there is a message there that says for these great things that we have surrounding your relationships and your emotions, you're gonna be doing the work to make that environment so that this can grow. Does that make sense? It's not something that, I don't believe that the universe tends to just hand us things on a platter. The queens here are saying, You know, they're not just sitting on their thrones. To me, queens are active. They're actively creating the environment for that energy to be able to flourish. So yeah, so you've got, and the same thing with the magician. He is active. He is an active participant in his power, right? So we definitely see you investing your energy in some great ways and having those pay off creatively. I think we see with the Empress as well as the Ace of Rods, that sense of paying off in a creative sense that is quite beautiful. So yeah, that's a little peek into your energies for August. I hope that that helps. I'll be interested in seeing how that pans out for you, and I wish you much wonderfulness in August. Okay, we have one more reading. I believe we've gotten everybody in. As I said, I already did a full reading for Miss Whimsy privately. And I have to say that without, you know, obviously giving any details, it was quite a serious reading. And this deck read beautifully. I really am impressed with this deck. It doesn't read the way that I expected that it was. For me, it's obviously going to read differently for everybody, but for me it did not read the way that I expected it to. There is a very earthiness to it, very more similar, like it's not capricious like, say, the Fae energy in the Brian Froud Fairy Oracle. It doesn't have that capriciousness. It actually has a little bit closer energy to Tarot of the Hidden Realms, which I really didn't expect for that to be. I mean, it's not the same energy for me, but it's that more serious, let's get down to business kind of energy that I really wasn't expecting. I also want to say that while I was talking to Miss Whimsy on her video and saying that I really felt like this was going to be a good scrying, I had a kind of spontaneous, I've never scryed for anybody in particular, like for anybody but myself, and had an experience scrying with this beautiful citrine, and it was very powerful. I've never had that happen. It was so easy to fall into, and it was really ended up being quite appropriate to the reading. And yeah, so that was pretty cool too. So yeah, these two definitely like the energy, like each other, and seem to bounce off each other. So that was a pretty neat experience. So yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised by this deck. Not that I had any negative connotations to this deck, because I really never paid a whole lot of attention to it. But had I had guessed what it was, I would have guessed a much more lighter energy than it actually has for me. So this next one is for Miss Lizzie Liz, and she's just wanting to look at, I think it was whether, I didn't write the exact wording down, which I should have on this one. I think she was looking to see whether she'd be working for the next 8 months, something along that line. I don't tend to do yes and no questions, so I just kind of, what are the, you know, just let's see what the energy is surrounding work. And seeing what is the energy surrounding work, kind of moving into the next 8 months. So let's just see what comes up with a work situation for this deck. Also, kind of maybe what does she need to know to accomplish what she wants with work. If she wants work to be obviously holding out for the next 8 months, what is it that she needs to know to be able to, because I do believe that, you know, we, in terms of reading for people, our jobs are, okay, I'm speaking for myself. My job when I do a reading for someone is to empower them to be able to affect as much of the change as they can, because the choices and decisions always stay in their own hands. And so, you know, that kind of what is it she might need to know to be able to create the environment and work that is positive for her and takes her where she needs to go. So we have the Sun card, very happy card, certainly in terms of cartomancy, if we're just looking at yes and no-y kind of thing, of Sun and the Moon, so that's interesting there. We have the Five of Rods, so we have a little bit of conflict there. The Page of Swords, the Queen of Coins. I think, to me, to have that show up in the middle of a work question is quite a positive one. Being willing and able to step out into a new adventure here. We have the Four of Coins, the the 6 of coins, so that's interesting, swords. So we have some, to me, a very stable answer here. And then we have a little bit of a transition and a movement with the Fool and a 6 of swords. And then we have the 5 of coins. So we definitely have 2 5s moving forward. So if I was reading this a little bit more cartomancy style, I would say that towards the end of this time frame that you're working towards, moving towards, there is some conflict there. There may be some things that, because 5s are disruptive. I don't necessarily think it means that there's going to be fighting. I don't read them quite that literally, but there is some disruptive energy there. And the same thing with the 5 of coins. We again have, you know, the stability of the 4 of coins, because I know people read this as the miser card. I don't necessarily read it that way. I read that as a time of stabilizing finances. If it stays too long, it can get miserly, but by itself, it's, to me, the 4 of coins is not about miserliness. It's about holding on to your resources. It's stable resources. And so the 5s is a destabilizing of the 4. And so we definitely see some destabilizing that's coming near the end of here. But we have the Fool energy here as well in between these. It's saying, okay, this may not, towards the end maybe of this time frame, this may, there may be some things that are starting to shift and change, because we do have the 6 of swords, that movement away from a difficult situation generally and towards a better situation. So we have these difficult situations here, but we can see that there's going to be some movement away from that and needing to be open to new things, because the Fool card to me is very much about that idea of moving forward in life with our chest open, being open to new possibilities. And so while there may be some change that's going to be coming in your work environment, that may be something that you need to work at, being open to possible changes that are going to put you in a better circumstance, perhaps. But we do have, again, the Queen of Coins, so we have some structure here. We have some stability and that idea of creating, but we also, as I said in the last video, I very much see queens as being active in their environment. And so the Queen is saying, you know, in order to gain what you want out of your work experience in the next 8 months of whatever's going on, is needing to do whatever it is that you can possibly do, because some things are outside of our control. And so all we can do is do the things that we can do. What are the things that we have control over to start to move things in the direction that we want it to go? That's what I always tell my clients, that when they get a reading, what they see is giving them a heads up. If they like what they see, they can make choices and decisions to keep moving in that direction. If they don't like what they see, then that is a heads up that says start to make choices and decisions that move you away from that. And so the Queen of Coins is saying, figuring out what it is that you want out of the next 8 months in work, and doing the work that you can to create an environment where you can, you know, gain what it is that you're looking for. But up in the upper left-hand corner, which is also my other key in a 9 card, is the Sun card. And so that's a very positive card, but it is positive based on having gained your own power. For me, it's not simply a happy card. Like, let's say Lenormand, we have that pure sense of happiness that's going on. The happiness is there in the Sun card for me, but it is one that is bringing about happiness because you have, that's why, because I learned with the Llewellyn Tarot, and we had a strong man on a horse moving forward. I also think of the Wildwood Tarot is one of my favorite Sun cards. Again, we have a very strong male. Shadowscape was my other very strong male on the Sun card. So that's that very active Leo energy that says, you know, I'm not sitting and waiting for happiness. I'm creating my own happiness, if that makes sense. That's how I personally view the Sun card. So there is again that sense of creating our own doing what we can. There's only so much that we can do, right? We don't have control over everything, especially in relationships where there's somebody else involved, or a work environment where, you know, we simply may not have, we can do everything we can do, but we may not have complete control. but we can do what we can do to affect the change that we want, so that at least we're moving in the direction that we want, and then be open and ready for changes, because it may not actually be a negative thing that we have. I love the moon here, because in this position of creating the environment, doing all the things that you can to bring the stability and the structure to this work situation. In doing that, there's a message there of really paying attention to your inner voice, to your intuition. Things aren't always as they seem. You know, we have with the moon card. So while there is maybe some discord and disruption, they may not be as necessarily what it seems, because there may be something positive and a new adventure coming out of that situation. So I hope that this helps in some way, and thank you for letting me read for you. Thank you all for letting me read for you. As I said, I'm actually really pleased with this deck. Thank you, Miss Whimsy, for gifting it to me. I can see why you have enjoyed this deck so much. And as I said, yeah, it definitely doesn't read the way I expected it to read, and I'm very pleasantly surprised with it. There is a forthrightness and an earthiness to this, and a get down to business to this, that it feels almost like a blend between energetically, and I don't know why we have to try to label things, but I just try to figure out where does this fit, and it almost feels like it has a blend between Druidcraft and Tarot of the Hidden Realms, which are two of my favorite decks, but it almost seems like it has a little bit of a blend of those energies. I'm really happy with it. It's a deck that I would actually pull out and use. I think there is there's a voice here that has a place in my collection. So thank you so very much. And thank you all for letting me try this out and test this out and break this lovely deck in. So I wish you all an absolutely wonderful rest of the day.